Hello and welcome to my channel guys. Today in this video we are going to discuss about AWS Certified Developer Associate certification, which is also the newly launched DVA-C02 certification. Today in this video we will discuss how you can study for this certification and how you can prepare for your exam without having any previous experience with AWS. And I myself have given this exam and cleared this exam recently, so I'm going to share with you my experience as well. So without wasting any time further, let's get started. So first thing first guys, this is the certificate that has been given to me by AWS for passing my exam, and this is the badge that AWS gives you through Credly. You can use this badge in your email signatures or on your LinkedIn profiles to basically show that you are now a AWS Certified Developer Associate. So now moving to the content, first thing is the exam overview. So guys, in AWS Developer Associate exam, you will get 65 questions that you have to solve in 130 minutes. The passing percentage is 72%. So out of 65 questions, almost 48 questions you have to answer correctly. And then the questions are mostly multiple choice questions, which means that the questions are having multiple answers and you have to select one answer that is correct. However, for some questions you will have multiple choices, but out of those choices, two or three choices could be correct. So you have to check all the correct ones. Then interesting thing about this certification is that there is going to be 7 unmarked questions. So let's say we have got 65 questions. Out of these 65 questions, there are going to be 7 questions which don't have any marking on them. So if you get them wrong or if you get them right, it doesn't really matter because those questions are unmarked. The questions are usually there to test your knowledge on AWS. However, you would never know which questions out of those 65 are unmarked questions. So whenever you go into the exam, don't think that this question could be unmarked. You just have to answer the question up to the best of your ability. Okay. Now, going to the first part of this video, that is the study material. Okay, so first thing guys, that AWS Certified Developer Associate exam is not like any other certification where you can just study the mock test and most of the questions are from the mock test and then you can just pass the exam. For this certification, you actually must know the concept, the core concepts of AWS. And there are two ways to have that knowledge. One is that if you actually have experience on AWS, if you actually have worked on it, and that's how you have that knowledge. But in my case, I didn't have any previous experience on AWS. I didn't even have an account in AWS. So for me, it was really important to join a course. And for that, I highly recommend the Udemy course by Stephen Marek. So the Udemy course is actually not free. So you have to pay to get this course. However, Udemy hosts sales almost all year around. So whenever there is a sale going on, there is a discount on this course, then I definitely recommend you guys to buy it. Now, this study material will take you almost 2 weeks to prepare because this course itself is around 33 hours. So if you study around 2.5 hours every single day, in 2 weeks you will be able to complete this entire course. If you can study more, then definitely you can complete it earlier. But for me, because I have a full-time job and I have got other stuff to do as well, it took me around 2 weeks to completely go through this study material. Okay. Now, going to the next part, and actually the most important part, is the exam preparation by giving a lot of practice tests. Okay, so whenever you schedule your exam, just make sure that 1 week before the exam you have to practice a lot of mock tests, or I can say practice tests. Now, these are the practice tests which I actually practiced. The first practice test that I highly recommend for all of you to buy is the practice test by Neil Davis. So these are the practice tests that are available in Udemy, and they are 6 practice tests. So each test has 65 questions, and they are a really comprehensive set of questions, comprehensive set of practice tests, and actually two of the questions came directly from Neil Davis practice test. So I highly recommend that please do buy Neil Davis practice test. If you cannot buy anything, then this you must have to buy. Now, these practice tests are not like any other mock test where you will just see the question, and if you get the question wrong, you just see which question answer was actually correct. In Neil Davis practice tests, and in fact, in all the practice tests for AWS certifications in Udemy, you will actually find the explanation to the question and why the answer was correct and why the particular answer was wrong. You will actually get the full explanation of that question. So when you are giving this practice test, if you get any question wrong, or even if you get a question right, then just read the explanation, just go through it, so your concepts are getting more and more clear. And when you do that, then let's say in one practice test you score a little bit less, I'm sure after reading the explanation in the next practice test you will score a little bit better. Okay. Now, going to the next practice test, that is again a paid one, is John Bonso practice test. This practice test is also available in Udemy, and John Bonso practice test is actually one of the toughest practice tests that I have given in Udemy, and they are also really comprehensive. And I highly recommend you guys to buy this as well, because even though Neil Davis practice test is almost enough if you don't want to spend a lot of money, John Bonso practice test will just give you that extra confidence. It will just give you that extra boost to be 100% sure that you can go to the exam and you are going to pass it. So if you only want to spend a limited amount of money, then I would just recommend you to buy Neil Davis and John Bonso. John Bonso test again have got 6 practice tests, out of which 5 have got 65 questions and 1 has got only 10 questions. Okay. And same like Neil Davis, this also has all the explanation for each and every question. Coming to the another practice test that I bought was the practice test by Stephen Marek. So as I recommended you the course material, the study material by Stephen Marek has a set of practice tests as well. Now, if you don't want to spend that much money, then yeah, you can skip the Stephen Marek's test. However, if you just want to be super confident about your ability to clear the exam, or let's say you are not scoring that well on Neil Davis and John Bonso, and you need to read the explanation a little bit more, then I can say go ahead and buy the Stephen Marek test. It also has a really good explanation. This is also a set of 6 practice tests, each having 65 questions. So in all, if you just buy these 3 tests, Neil Davis, John Bonso, and Stephen Marek, you don't have to do anything. You can just go to the exam and definitely you are going to clear it. Okay. Now, another option that I want to give to you guys is exam topics. So if you guys don't want to spend any money, then exam topics is a free resource for you to give the mock test and actually study for this exam. I will just share the website with you here. So this is the exam topics website, and you can see that this is our course, Amazon AWS Certified Developer Associate exam. Now you can see that exam topics has got 450 questions to prepare for this certification. So definitely exam topics is a free option and it is a comprehensive mock test option as well. However, there is one small issue with it. The issue is that whenever you give answer to a question, you will not actually get the real explanation of why that answer was correct and why the other answers were wrong. So this is why I recommend the Udemy practice test. But as I said, if you don't want to spend any money, then you can go with exam topics as well. But there is another small issue with exam topics is that some of the answers given in exam topic questions are actually not correct. So for example, look at this question number 1, which basically says that there is a gaming website that is just recording some gaming data, and they want the user records to be updated and persisted in a single transaction. So for example, if your transaction update fails, then the entire transaction should roll back and not just a small part of it. Now, the capability that is required for this feature is the question, and what kind of solution the AWS can provide. And basically, the answer for this question should be C, which says Amazon DynamoDB with read and write made by the transact operation, because the transact API of DynamoDB does provide the property of atomicity that makes sure that all the transactions are either executed in full or rolled back as full. Okay. But if you click on review solution, you will see that the answer that is given by exam topics is answer number D. That is Amazon Aurora MySQL operations made within a transaction block. And if you look at it, there is no explanation why the answer D was selected. Okay. And there is no explanation why the other answers were wrong. If you click on discussion, you might get some logic behind this. However, the discussions are the answers or the discussion done by the regular people, so you can't rely on it. But if you still want to go through exam topics, then you can just read the discussion and try to understand the explanation. However, in this case, you can see that the most voted answer is actually C, which is DynamoDB. And almost everyone in the discussion did say that C should have been the answer and D shouldn't be the answer. So, in my opinion, if this question would have come into the exam, I would have gone forward with the most voted answer, that is the DynamoDB. Okay. So there is some problem with exam topics that I have already shown you, but then it becomes your choice if you want to go with the free option or if you want to actually buy the Udemy practice test. And again, repeating myself, that if you have a limited amount of money to spend on this certification, just buy the Neil Davis and John Bonsey practice test. These are definitely enough. But if you don't want to spend any money, then go with exam topics. Okay. And if you just want to get a little bit of extra edge, just to get a little bit of more confidence, also buy the Stephen Marek one. Okay. Now, when you start giving these practice tests, especially the Udemy practice test, there is a possibility that you might not score 72% or the passing marks in those practice tests. So the key is to keep retrying the test until you actually start getting 80% or above consistently in those tests. So for example, if you have got 6 practice tests and after a few retries you score 80% above in all of those 6 practice tests, then definitely you are prepared for your exam and then you can go forward with it. Okay. Just remember that do this practice test 1 week before your exam so that the answers are fresh in your mind and the explanation is fresh in your mind. Okay. Now, last but not the least part, that is the scheduling of the exam. So there are 2 ways that you can schedule the exam. The first way is to schedule the exam in the center. Now, when you are scheduling the exam in the center, guys, just refer the exam location reviews before you book that particular center. So in my case, I was confused between 2 exam centers, and when I looked at the reviews, and one of the exam center was located in a basement of a building and was very hard, very hard to find, and that was a review given by some people. So I didn't go for that location and I went ahead for a different exam location which was highly rated by some people. Okay. So just read the reviews and make sure that the location is easy to find and easy to reach. Always reach the location 15 minutes early, guys, because they need to do some formalities. For example, they will make you fill some of your details in a form. You would have to put all your stuff in the locker because you cannot take your bag or your phone or anything inside your exam location. So for all these formalities, just reach a little bit early. Now, the next way to schedule your exam is to schedule it at home. Now, I actually went ahead and gave my exam in the center, and that is what I recommend to everyone. However, if you want to schedule at home, then these are the things that you have to remember. The first thing is that you must have a good internet connection. So you should not have a unstable connection which can make you lose time in your exam. So you must have a good connection. Second thing is that when you will join your exam from home online, then there will be a invigilator that will check the surrounding environment before you start giving your exam. So basically you have to lift up your laptop rotate it in your room to make sure that the invigilator can see that there is nothing around you that is distracting you or that can enable you to cheat in the exam. So these are some of the steps that invigilator will do. So always join that link given to you a little bit early before the actual exam time. And one last thing, guys, that if you have a habit of mumbling the words or whispering the words to yourself or question to yourself, then you might get picked on by the invigilator. You might get told off that please don't whisper the words or please don't repeat the questions to yourself. So mind you that if you have that particular habit, then definitely go ahead and schedule an exam in the center and try not to give it at home. However, if you're okay with all these points, then definitely go for it. Schedule it at home where you have peace of mind and then you can clear your exam really well. Now, these are all the tips that I can give you for the exam, guys. At the end, I would just wish you guys all the best for the exam. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback for me, please do write down in the comment section below. And if you have any if you guys give your exam and you want to share your experience of the exam, feel free to share as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do like this video and share this video with your friends. If you have not yet subscribed, then please do subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications of more such videos. We discuss in this channel a lot of programming videos, coding interview videos, and a lot of fun software stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care and bye bye.